Okay, today's video is going to be simple about what a 2-inch lift looks like on the Jeep Grand here. Now, it's sort of sitting at a precarious angle. It's on a hill right now, and it's sort of angled, but I'm not moving it today. So I'm going to measure all 4 springs and also show you the spacers they put on it. So this Jeep, when I bought it, it didn't have a lift on it. Okay, so I put up a tape measure here. The very top of the spring to where the original springs, it looks like it was about 8 inches. And then you've got the seat and then the spacer itself. So you got the seat and the spacer. So the springs themselves look like they're stock springs that would be about 8 inches long. This is of course compressed on the Jeep. And then add in another spacer there. So the whole thing is like 10.5 from top to bottom. Okay, so that's the back rear. We're going to check the other side. Okay, here is the driver's side rear. Again, you got about 8 inches of, roughly 8 inches of spring, 7.5 to 8. And then with the spacers, it brings it to 10. This is a rough country 2-inch lift. So that's the rear. I'll go take a picture at the front. Okay, so here we are at the front of the Jeep. This is driver's side. Driver's side front. Here's the spring. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There you go. This bottom spring perch to me looks factory. Can't recall if I had to put spacers in this or not. But there is a bit of the spacer up top, no doubt, is thicker. Can't recall if this is stock or not. But anyhow, this length right now, it could have just been longer springs, because if you look at the length of this to the spacer, which sort of looks stock, it's about 10 inches from there all the way to the top. And then it's got another, looks like, inch of rubber on top of that. So can't recall if that's a stock rubber here up on top or not. And I think this is factory on the bottom with the notches, but once again, I don't recall if those came with new rubbers or not. But that's the length of the spring. The question being, did they send me longer springs or was it just rubber? Okay, we're gonna scoot over just to the passenger side. Here you can see, the more I look at it, the more I think it's a stock bump stop that's what we're seeing on top. Bottom spacers. I think the fronts were probably just longer springs from rough country with rear pucks. Anyway, I'll measure this last one too. Maybe 5 years ago was when I did the special lift. Okay, so for the spring itself, it's roughly about 10 if you cut it to the bottom of the rubber stops. And that's from the spring. If I measure from the top of the bump stops to the very bottom of the pad, it's 11 inches. If I reduce it down to about the size of the spring, right before, it's like 9, 9.5, depending on where you say it touches, 9 to 10. Well, it's sort of vague, but that's what a 2-inch lifted Jeep is. So if your Jeep has similar dimensions, it might have a 2-inch lift on it already. I'd say the rear spacers are the big indicator if they have an lift or not. Hope it helps. Good luck.